They went with songs to battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget.
I turn. Turn. California Party presents arms. Party, I 10. Turn.
Meanwhile, Australia was preparing to fight a war on her own doorstep. Part of our militia had been in New Guinea already on garrison. Now, thousands of troops were landed at Port Moresby with all possible speed.
It was everybody's war now. The Japs were too close for any messing about.
The Allies had decided on a policy of beat Hitler first, so the war against Japan had to take second place in global strategy. To fight this holding war in New Guinea, Australia had to strain her resources to the limit and beyond.
The Japanese had landed in the north and begun to move south across the mountains of the Owen Stanley Range. If they reached Moresby, Australia was only a stone's throw away, so we knew we had to stop them, or else.
I went forward with them as a cameraman. They were mostly young men, but their faces were old, with the grim look of men going once again into battle.
Cop this track report. Quote, not to be used by Europeans carrying loads. Natives must not carry more than 15 pounds. Huh, we carried up to 70 pounds.
We hauled 25-pounders up that impossible track. Once it took us 12 hours to cover 9 miles.
The greatest single problem in this campaign was supply. Native carriers and the soldiers themselves carried in heavy loads, but they relied on supplies from the air to keep them going. There were never enough aircraft, and pilots had difficulty locating dropping areas. Sometimes supplies dropped where they were needed, but often they were lost in the undergrowth or damaged beyond use on hitting the ground.
After lots of patrols, we were too tired to eat much, which is just as well, because there wasn't much to eat.
Up and down, up and down. As we went forward, we passed the native stretcher bearers bringing the wounded back. Oh, well, at least we wouldn't have to walk back. Like meeting your future face to face. In the pictures I took, I tried to show the stamina and endurance that campaign called for. I used to write the captions, too. But sometimes words weren't necessary.
It rained and it rained until I thought the whole stinking island would be washed into the sea. But the boys carried on just the same.
We set up makeshift dressing stations as close as we could to the front line, but the fighting was so spread out, it was impossible to be everywhere we were needed. I don't know to this day how we saved as many lives as we did. Look, some of them were suffering from vitamin deficiency to start off with, plus a dose of malaria or dysentery, and frequently both. And then they got wounded on top of that. Well, the human body can take just so much.
The worst cases we sent back to base hospital. I doubt if some of them ever made a full recovery.
A lot of them had come from Boona and Gona, where they were fighting in sago swamps most of the time. Even before they were wounded, the climate, that awful humidity, had weakened them badly. The worst part was that we all knew as we worked to get them back on their feet that what we were really doing was getting them ready to go back and fight, all over again.
They wanted to get us into the Markham Valley, but the Japs had control of Leh and Salamoa, and there seemed to be no other way in. Then somebody got a bright idea.
The Yanks who were with us reckoned they'd spent 8 months training for something like this. But most of us had never even made one practice jump before. When it came to the point, I forgot all the instructions. I simply crossed my fingers and jumped.
There'd never been a campaign like this before. Jungle warfare stands every rule of battle on its head. We'd found that out pretty quickly and paid dearly for the mistakes we'd made. But now we knew enough to invent new rules. The right ones this time.
By the time we got to Shaggy Ridge, we too knew our way about in the jungle. We ought to. Some of us had been fighting in it for more than a year. And however much we hated it, however exhausted we were by the appalling conditions, we knew what we were doing. We could match the Jap, trick for trick, cunning for cunning. At last, the odds were evening up.
Each of them carried his own supply of ammunition and some rations. They were an army of individuals. They trained their bushmen's eyes to see things in a very different landscape.
We listened while a barrage of mortars and mountain guns softened them up first. And as soon as that finished, we moved in.
When you fought well, you were rewarded with another battle, until you got to feel you'd been in that stinking green hell your whole lifetime. You fought the Jap, sure, but you also fought malaria and dysentery and malnutrition. You fought the rain and the mud and the wet. You fought the heat. You fought the cold. You fought your feet, red, raw, and swollen white. You fought your body, weeping with tropical ulcers. Every ridge you took was a bitter battle. And then there was another ridge, and another, and another.
Milne Bay, Bougainville, Wow, Salamoa, Ley. Was this what you had to go on doing all your life? Did you have to fight like this right across the world until you beat them?
Blessed be the name of the Lord. We cherish his memory here. We commend his spirit to God who gave it and consigned his body to the earth.